Guys, welcome to the last video in the GNS3 Fortinet series that I'm putting on. And we're going to go ahead and show you how you can download what's known as GNS3 Marketplace appliances and their pre-configured settings for different vendors' virtual machines. So they essentially just work once you import them in. So that is our goal. And then we'll set up a small topology. We'll test connectivity and then we'll wrap it up. All right, so here we go. So, starting off with the last lab, we had gone to the Fortinet support website and got the KVM zip file for the correct version that we wanted, and then we renamed that QCOW2 file that we extracted to the appropriate name of the FortiOS that we're trying to put into GNS3. Okay, but we need to go get those templates that I was telling you about. And there's nothing wrong with getting like a collection of these templates, right? Because there's some pretty cool products there. So let's go to GNS3. Marketplace is what it's called. All right. Appliances, right there on Google, came right up. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of vendors, devices, even Dockers that you can get here. Okay. This is kind of cool. I have not seen Ubuntu with the GUI yet. I actually had to make my own. Now there's a template. A little bitter about that. But you can also get Windows products, and these will guide you through downloading free virtual machines that essentially become drag and drop. You guys saw me using those in class. But if we keep on going here, look at this. 40 Authenticator. What? 40 Seam. What? Isn't that great? 40 Sandbox, right? There's Juniper devices. There's Cisco devices here. As long as you have images for these things, they work, all right? Which is kind of nice. But we're going to keep on going until we find the FortiGate. So by the way, I'm going to stop right there because I see something that I want. All right. It's not the Forti Analyzer or the Forti Manager or the Forti Web. Is that cool? Or the Forti Mail. It's actually this Firefox. So this Firefox is a small distro of Linux that's just enough to run the web browser. All right. Um, we're going to use this image to act as a front end for our FortiGate once we get it up and running. So this is trying to go into the last place that I was in. I'm just going to put this in my downloads because once it's imported in the appliance itself, we don't need the file anymore. So there we go. I just got the Firefox template. So that's going to act as just a little front end to access the GUI, and that's why it's there. Very small footprint. That's why I like it. And I know just from experience that the FortiGate is towards the bottom because it's one of the first vendors that made an appliance for GNS3, which is also another reason why I like the FortiGate. Hey, look at that, Kali Linux. You can try hacking your FortiGate all day long. Anyways, okay, I'll try to stay focused. So here we go. We're going to select FortiGate. Once again, this pops up. We say download template, and I'm going to save it right into my downloads, and then we're done. We got it. So definitely come back here, guys, and explore these. There's a lot of cool products here. And remember, once they're installed in GNS3, they become essentially drag and drop deployments. All right. But I'm done with the web. So bye, web. I'm also done with PowerPoint here. And let's go ahead and, oh, there's my old topology. I'm going to go to my downloads folder. So here we go, downloads. And I'm going to start with the FortiGate. So here we are. Now, if you double click this file, it's smart enough to actually know that it's a GNS3 product. So it says another one is running. Is that okay? That's actually okay. We're going to hit yes. All right. And it's going to walk us through it. So it explains what the FortiGate is. We're going to hit next. Run it on the VM. Definitely. All right. And then we're going to hit next. And now it's saying, okay, where is your FortiGate? Now you can actually set up GNS3 to always look in the same folder, which is kind of nice. All right. But I have not done that yet. So I'm going to match up the FortiGate version that I had. I'm going to click this guy here. And this will actually jump you to the support website to download that image. So that's another way that you can get to the support website. But I'm going to go to import. And I saved this before on my D drive in GNS3 in images. And like I said, I plan on having many vendors here. So I'm going to go to Fortinet and I'm going to put in that 2cow2 file. all right? What it's doing here is actually uploading it to the VM. So the GNS VM. So there you go. It takes a little bit long to do, not too bad, but essentially it's going to do an upload, then it's going to do a hash to verify that it's the correct file. So there's a little bit of a delay there once it's going. Now I'm going to take this time to mention, if you guys are doing something that is big, like some of these other vendors, their virtual machines can be in the gigabytes. You might want to consider setting up an FTP folder and uploading it to the VM. That way, it will go substantially faster and it will automatically find it in this little wizard here. All right. But if you guys notice, we are missing the empty hard drive file. So this is going to act as the hard drive part of the FortiGate that does like the logging. And I do not have this file yet. Believe it or not, it is actually on the share drive that I gave you guys. So I'm going to go there. All right. I just happen to know where it lives. Okay. You know what? I'm going to skip that. Just remember that it's on the share drive from class, but I wonder if it will just download it for me because there's nothing special about this file. This file is just something that you can make yourself using the Q emulator. It's just a blank shell. See, that was pretty painless. So I just went right in the app. There's no reason to go through the share drive. So, but I am going to store that in my GNS3 folder, just to keep things tidy, in images. And because I can use this in essentially any QCOW2, any KVM machine, I'm going to hit save. And that way I forever have a blank hard drive I can drop into my virtual machines. So here we go back to GNS3. I'm going to go to import now. I'm going to go up one folder, and there it is. Ta-da! And now it's ready to install. It found the two files that it needed. I hit next. Would you like to install it? You hit yes. You just click it through it because all the settings are there because of the ta-da, because of the appliance template. And guess what? We now have a FortiGate. All right. So I'm going to go back to my topology here that we made, the test topology, and look at that. FortiGate 5.4.1. It even has their little logo. So I'm going to drop it right here. All right. I'm going to get out my cabling tool. It gives us 10 interfaces. I'm going to go to port 1. I'm going to hook it up to the switch. And then I am going to right click and start this bad boy. And if you double click, look how nice this is. We'll see it posting. Oh, look at that, guys. That is pretty cool. All right, that is pretty neat. Okay, um, makes me smile every time. There you go. Here we are. So, are you guys ready? Let's go ahead and test connectivity. I am going to do a config sys interface. I'm going to edit my port 1. I'm going to set IP to 10, oops, 10.10.10.1, right, with the /24. I'm going to set allow access ping so we could ping the thing. And also I'm going to give it SSH, HTTP, HTTPS, maybe some telnet. It's a virtual lab. It's okay to do that. All right, then I'm going to do an end. And then I should be able to execute ping, and I'm going to ping my PC1 to see if it works. And that lived at 10.10.10.10. Look at that, guys. We just have a FortiGate. We just installed it. We have it talking to machines as easy as that. That is pretty darn cool. All right. Here we go. Let's go ahead and what you call it? Just showing you that this is drag and drop. You can have mini FortiGates here. Turn them on, and as you can see, they're going to be posting. I mean, doesn't get neater than that, guys. Okay. So that is essentially how you import the appliance in. See, ta-da. Let's go ahead and take it a little bit further though. All right, guys, ready? So I'm going to delete these guys. I don't need them anymore. So the second that you drag and drop them into the topology, be aware that you have 15 days without a license. All right. So there you go. So now I am going to get myself another switch here. All right. Remember, you always want it on the VM. And then I'm going to plug in that switch into port 2, okay? And GNS3 has an appliance baked right in called NAT, and this will essentially take your network connection from your host PC, NAT it directly through the VMs so you can have internet connectivity, okay? Also, I want to access this through the GUI, so we'll do that too. So I'm going to add a new appliance. I am going to import a template. That template is the Firefox, okay? There's nothing that you have to do because it's using oh, I thought it was using Docker. This one isn't. Well, that's fine because I can just go here to download. Now this is one that I'm actually going to stay in my downloads because I'm going to use it once and that's it. I'm not going to store it in, well, I guess it went there. I'll just go ahead and store it. I was going to not hold on to it because once it uploads it to the VM, essentially you don't need that image anymore. So, but you're going to see that happen here shortly. So it looks like it's about 88 megs big, so not very big at all. Let's go back to our test environment here. So we're going to essentially drop a tiny Linux distro that's just enough to give it a GUI. All right, so there we are. That's going to take a minute, so why don't I just hit cancel in the time being, and let's set up our FortiGate to act like this is our WAN connection. So I'm going to double click again to get to the terminal. Now this is just the same as like if I consoled in. So I'm going to do a config sys int, but now I'm going to edit port 2 because that's the port that I plugged it into, the NAT cloud, and then I'm going to do a set mode to DHCP. So it's going to simulate getting a dynamic IP address from an internet service provider. All right. And set allow access to ping, HTTP, HTTPS, and maybe SSSH. All right. Just so we can test connectivity and make sure that everything is working okay. Now, if I do a diagnose IP address list, you see all the IP addresses that we get from our FortiGate, and right there, it took a couple of tries, but it got an IP address of 192.168.122.66. Ta-da! So there you go. Not too bad. So it got an IP address. All right, pretty neat. And I bet you anything that is done downloading. So let's go back to import appliance and let's access this thing from the GUI. So here's Firefox. Once again, we're going to hit next. We're going to hit next. We're going to hit next. All right. It says it's missing it, so we're going to import it. All right. I went ahead and saved it on my D drive. So let's go to D. Let's go to GNS3. Let's go to images. And there it is. All right. It's now uploading it to the KVM VM, GNS3 VM. All right. I guess I don't need this bad boy anymore. So I'll close out that second incident of GNS3. But you can have multiple projects open, and you can do that because it's all tapping into that common GNS3 VM. Just keep an eye out on your resources. So I'll talk about that for a moment here. Over on this side, you don't need to necessarily focus too much on your physical machine, right? You're gonna want to make sure that your GNS3 VM stays all right. And it seems like running this topology here, including the 2 virtual PCs and the FortiGate and the NATed device, I'm only using 1% of my CPU. So I know that I'm good there. I'm going to have to stretch it out a little bit further, which I can't do right now while this thing is importing. So here we go. It says that it's ready to install. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Do you like to install it? Yes, I would. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to hit next. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to just a second there. Now, if you get this, you got to be careful. I just caught that at the last moment. You see where it's saying I386? You're going to want to drop that down and do X86. Okay, so um, there we go. My bad. So, and it still says, okay, Hopefully that doesn't show up. We'll find out in a second. Here we go. Normally you don't have to do anything though. It detects that you're using an Intel AMD architecture and picks the right one. But all right, so I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. So with this deployment right here, my VM is only using 3% of RAM and not even a percentage of my CPUs I've given it. So it's extremely effective when it comes to utilizing resources. So I'm going to drop Firefox here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and connect it to my switch, and I'm going to power it on, and then it's going to use VNC to access the GUI, or access the GUI of this Firefox machine. So we'll see it posting. And once again, it is a Linux distro. It's only 80 megs big. And this was literally made just enough for you to be able to access those interfaces. Okay, so look at that. Isn't that kind of nice? So if you guys remember, we had an IP address of that FortiGate. I don't even remember what it was. Good thing Putty's still up here, right? Anyways, and it looks like it, let's see, probably timed me out, which is fine. So admin blank, and I'm going to go ahead and do a diagnose IP address list, and that was 192.168.122.66. All right, so I'm going to go back to my Firefox, which is this machine right here, and I'm going to go ahead and type in 192.168.122, and my numlock key doesn't work. That is awesome. Sorry, guys. Maybe I'll edit that out. Maybe I won't. Anyways, it was just enough for me to forget also what my IP address was. All right, that was embarrassing. All right, here we go. All right, so it's 122.66. Let's try that one more time. 192.168.122.66. Lo and behold, you now have access to the GUI of the FortiGate that you just created in GNS3. So remember that the default login is going to be admin blank, and look how easy and nice that was. The dashboard's going to appear here, and now you can go ahead and configure like things like the default gateway. You can explore some of those options there. All right, it's going to pop up very briefly about the licensing for the 15 days. That is just fine. And now you have a nice, safe, easy way to practice for the NSC4, or even testing out some topologies before you implement them out to production. So, all right, guys, that is it. That's where I'll stop. I highly encourage you to explore those other appliances. Definitely get the Windows one. And be able to implement, domain controllers on here, drag and drop. It's a pretty neat experience. I might record some videos in the future showing how to maybe do some tricks that I've learned. But just using this, I have been able to practice my CLI, practice my policy writing, my VPNs. It's pretty neat. So I hope you enjoy these videos. I'm going to get them out to you as soon as I can. And once again, thank you for your patience. And I will talk to you guys all soon. All right, take care.